last discussion topic before we get to breeze through things, which has been great too. Thank you all for participating. This is what I look for. Um, the last one is, again, we're going back into sex worker rights and FOSTA-SESTA and what's happening. Like I said, I had been sent an article on, they're trying to deal with International Avenue. Uh,
Mm.
for again, the 10 people that will watch this, uh, here in Oakland, we have two major tracks for street providers. That is International Boulevard, or East 14th, if you've been in Oakland a long time, and then San Pablo Avenue, over in what they call West Oakland. San Pablo Avenue, their struggles, along with the normals of exploitation of women, trafficking, and diseases, their drug of choice seems to be on that one is heroin. And it has
Yeah.
been for a while. There's other ones, but heroin is the big one over there. Here on International, actually, ironically, their drug use perhaps is starting to go down as opposed to drinking and smoking weed. But we'll take that. But that's also where the Oakland Greens now has kind of put their work. I mean, this is where I live.
Mm.
Those are my neighbors, right? So it can be, I have a bumper sticker on my car, community kills fascism. And so, we try to work on that. And we did, right? In the article, they interviewed a 17-year-old, um, again, getting off a bus coming from somewhere, runaways and things like that. But International itself, though, has seen a decline in underage trafficking. But that was specifically because the uh, organizers, at least three of the five that kind of run everything, big ones over there, um, made at least the verbal commitment on their own for that. But what they didn't talk about in the article too of why disease and stuff start to drop is because over at least on International, I give out free condoms constantly. I mean, I keep buckets in my car. Um, Berkeley Free Clinic used to do that, has a mobile, that they would go out and even free testing and things like that too, and just having those discussions. So it still is an issue, of course. We mentioned it, I think it was off recording, but we've all come to the realization now that the people that are in charge of our corporations and governments, a large portion, far too many, well, one is too many, but they're all a bunch of pedophiles and hebephiles, right? Those are the ones they're trafficking all of these people. Even though it's a problem on the block, the real problem is globally, and I think it's part of capitalism and that stuff too. And I will pause. Yes, please, Orlando.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah, I worked with Sanjay Swanson, and when he was in Sacramento, and he was working on Sex Bill 233. I mean 33, and he had Barbara Lee. The same people that was supporting him to get the bill, and it was basically for a lot of the underage kids that was out there on International. But 3 years ago, International makes about $2 million a year just off sex trafficking alone. So my question was from Sandre that asked the police department if y'all know that it's $2 million floating. 75% of the money comes from the Oakland airport for people traveling in and out. When you get to 25% of people coming from San Francisco, I mean 15%, but the critical part was the 5 and 10% of the young males that are from Oakland, Richmond, whether the surrounding areas or whatnot. How can you protect them for being a victim? Some of the young men that might have been trafficking these women, a lot of them been molested, been abused, a lot of them been abused and so forth. So he was trying to combat the behavior on why they doing this. You don't hear about the bill no more.
Well, it's
So I
actually
think,
true.
mm,
Even the adult content creators, many of
mm,
them had been abused, and that is true for the men as well. And I know at least among the First Nations, they have also, there's starting to be a shift, even though there are still a lot of groups that focus specifically on women and girls. The line now is MMIP, Murdered and Missing Indigenous Peoples, because it is happening to young boys as well. Um, and it is, yeah, just in general, just the exploitation of youth, whether it be sex work or anything else, is horrible. Like we talked about, chocolate, which slavery, right? In the coca industry, the cocaine industry and stuff like that too. So it gets really bad. And when we talked about specifically the law FOSTA-SESTA, what that did was shut down the actual uh, anonymous sites where adult providers contacted each other to say who the predators were.
Hmm.
This person, wants you to dress up young and they get violent and they don't pay, whatever it is, that's where they would communicate and say, hey, here's this person, and don't, service them because it's dangerous. And when they say it's supposedly going to protect, because it doesn't, actually the amount of children trafficked went up when that law went into effect
Hmm.
and all that stuff too. And so it's just a matter of locally. And I get it too, again, to the 25 people that'll watch this online. When we do this work, we're not trying to deregulate or decriminalize and actually stop uh, sex work, right? And it definitely is the oak agreement that, what consenting adults do, and then with their own body, not just along with the right to abortions and that type of health care, whatever you want to do, if it's in a safe and respectful manner, and they have that. Again, sex work is work, right? The sex worker rights is labor rights, and we are firmly, entrenched in that as well. So, yeah.
The thought has crossed my mind uh, because uh, when I was at Castlemont, we would have to deal with quite a few, and again, this was more about the young women, uh, women who were in group homes and things like that, being a place that was heavily exploited. I'm wondering if there are attempts to exploit people who are homeless now in regard to this. Um, but of course, the question is where would they go exactly? But it has crossed my mind whether they're more vulnerable in terms of trying to be exploited this way.
Absolutely. I would say that that is true. Um, they definitely are subject to getting raped and things like that too. And it's really sad. But we do the best we can. It kind of ties back to when I was teaching, and you get the girls team from all the different drug families and trying to stop them from doing violence, and you do that, but then you just united three drug families. Um, but how I've always rationalized that when we're doing this organizing is that I'm just navigating the fucking river that's in front of me, man. Right?
Right,
I am one person. I can't dam up the river, so I'm just trying to navigate the rough waters and as the best I can, and do little steps as much as you can. And if I can stop the people who are actually running shit from using younger women, I'm all for that, right? If I can get them to talk about healthcare and safe sex practices, I am all for that.
right.
You know, so getting them off of drugs and all those, yeah, I'm all for that. All right, that was really good. That does conclude the discussion